Welcome to the French Wedding Podcast with your host Naïm, the only podcast in English about weddings in France. Great conversations, tips and insights about your French wedding, some wisdom before your big day, and the opportunity to hear wedding professionals actually living and working in France, only for your day to be the most amazing to remember.
Hello everyone and welcome to the French Wedding Podcast. Greetings from France. This is the place where we're recording this show. I'm Naïm, professional ceremony officiant based in my hometown Paris, and I created this show especially for future brides and grooms willing to get married in Paris or anywhere in France. Each episode is an occasion to meet a main actor of the industry, can be a vendor such as a wedding planner, hair and makeup artists, bridal salon, videographer, venue owner, bloggers, you name it. This show exists to bring you some insight about how people do things in France regarding the wedding industry, but we also share funny stories, things to know, and special memories when we happen to work together on the very same wedding. My guest today decided to take a break from the normal path and move to Dubai to become an event photographer. After many success, she decided to take the French route and started her photography business, Lemon Box, successfully despite the pandemic. Please welcome to the show, Linda Steele. Linda, welcome to the show.
Hi, thanks. Hello.
Thanks for being here in this not so sunny day, guys. Sorry, but it's not always sunshine in France. How's everything, Linda? Thank you so much for being here.
Yeah, everything's good, we're still in this limbo of not knowing whether we're in lockdown or whether we're allowed to have events, but we're getting by. We're getting
Staying
by. Positive.
Exactly. That's really what I hear from all my fellows wedding suppliers, and I think it's the best way to do it. So
Yeah.
Going through this crazy times of COVID, we're recording this episode in March 2021, and I don't know if there is a light at the end of the tunnel, but we'll start, right?
Yeah. We'll get there. And we see positivity coming from other countries. Once the vaccine rollout gets underway properly here in France, I'm sure we'll start to see an improvement in the numbers, and we'll start to see some normal levels of everything returning.
Great.
So.
Yeah, I really wish that what you say is true and that it comes very quickly, because I really, really look forward to go back to the normal life, if we can call it that way. So this is a special episode for me because I'm talking today to Linda, a wedding supplier, a fellow wedding supplier, photographer, but also a bride-to-be. So this is going to be a special one, like a mix of a few things. Tell me a bit more about you, Linda. First, I can hear your lovely accent coming from the UK, if I don't know any mistake. Tell me a little bit about that. Where are you from?
Okay, so the where am I from question is always it's always complicated. So right. I was born in Scotland, although I don't sound like I'm from Scotland, because I grew up in the southwest of England.
Okay.
And for the last 7 or 8 years, I have been an expat. So I've lived in Dubai, and then, in fact, the end of this month, I'll be 5 years in France.
Oh, 5 years.
Yeah. So my accent's very broad these days. It's kind of a little bit of everywhere. I pick up kind of different tilts depending on who I'm speaking to. It's
Great.
It's crazy, but yeah, no, I like. I love to travel the world. I love to embrace other cultures, and I love to.
Can we do a little bit a little stop about little parenthesis about Dubai, because it seems like it's a very trendy destination for a lot of French people, but also for British people. Can you tell me a little bit more about Dubai?
So Dubai was absolutely wonderful. I moved there when I hit 30. Because I had one of those midlife crises, where I was like, I haven't traveled the world yet. I haven't done my gap year in Australia, because that's a really popular thing for British people to do. And I just never did it. I just went straight to university and I did my studies, and I I got married to the wrong guy,
Okay.
and had that life, and then everything fell apart. And when I hit 30, I was like, I need to see the world. And as a British person, I can't get a visa for Australia after I hit 30. And
Okay.
Dubai seemed a good halfway. So, honestly, when I got the job in Dubai, I had no idea where Dubai was. And then I got there and it was the most amazing place. It's just,
Yeah.
if you don't have like family or commitment and you're just young and free and are open to adventure, it's the place to go. There is so much up and coming. It's a really young country. I mean, when I was there, they were just celebrating their 40th birthday, 40 years
Wow.
of being a country. So
Yeah.
yes, it's very underdeveloped in some senses. I mean, whilst I was there, I was managing schools, and whilst I was there, the child protection law only just came into force.
Okay.
So it's very young in some senses, but it's moving rapid fire. You know, it takes a lot on
Yeah.
board. The Sheikh of Dubai is so forward thinking that it just makes the country a really exciting place to live.
Great. And what was your best experience there?
My best experience was actually being an event photographer. So as well as managing schools and things, which I loved and I was very passionate about, actually being in the underground music scene and doing event photography
Wow.
was just so, oh, it really fired me up. You know, I got to meet some amazing people. I got to do some fantastic photography jobs. I did Comic-Con there. I did an
Mm-hmm.
event photography for Comic-Con, ended up hanging out for the
That's
night with
big.
Seth Green. Yeah,
Wow.
like some of these things were just super fun. I got to meet Lily Allen, and I saw Cypress Hill, and yeah, no,
Wow. In
it
Dubai.
was
Wow.
yeah, in
Amazing.
Dubai. Yeah, and it was
That's
just
crazy.
like the most fun. Like I really enjoyed exploring my photography in Dubai, and I think it's really where it's really where I think for me as a photographer, it started to become more of a serious kind of, I could actually do this as a career rather than something I did during the holidays. Because as a
Right.
teacher my whole life, I always had photography. Like, I mean, my photography company's been running for 20 years. Like, I've always had photography, but I've always had it on the side. And it's
Okay.
always been something I've done during the school holidays for a bit of extra cash to supplement how terrible a teacher's wage is, you
Okay.
know?
Yeah.
And it's something that I'm passionate about and good at, but I never really had that full faith that I could do it full time. I never believed that it could be something I could earn money from.
Right.
Stupid and naive, I know, because you see now there's photographers everywhere, but you know,
Yeah. But it looks like
it wasn't
some.
so common when I was at school and when I
Yes.
was like deciding what career I wanted. Photography wasn't really
Before
something that,
Instagram.
yeah, it was before Instagram, before social media. You
Right.
know, I always had like a decent SLR camera. I inherited it from my mum. Um, but it was just a hobby.
Right.
That's what it was. It was a hobby. But in Dubai, it switched.
Yeah. Sounds like it.
And
That's what I
Dubai
was about
gave
to
me
say.
that. Yeah, 100%. Dubai gave me that. It's a place where it literally makes your dreams come true.
Right.
If you want something and you go to Dubai, it will happen.
Wow. That sounds very
Because
good.
yeah, there's people there, and you know, it's the locals are wonderful, they're open, but it is a hugely expat community
Mm-hmm.
and everybody's in the same boat. So when you
Right.
move there, everybody is open to accepting you and you build friends very fast. You build networks very fast and you
Okay.
meet the right people very easily.
That sounds pretty good. I
Yeah.
already heard this kind of feedbacks coming from Dubai, and it sounds like it played magic to you.
Yeah,
You
it really
had
did.
a career switch, and you decided to then what, move to France straight away, or am I missing a chapter?
So yeah, I moved to I moved to France. So I'm kind of you know, in my mid 30s, and as wonderful as Dubai was, it definitely wasn't somewhere where I saw myself settling down.
Okay.
There are complications with dating in Dubai. Obviously, it is a country that is an Islamic country. It is under Sharia law. You can't really date the way that I, as a British person, would date. You know, you can't go to a club and snog someone's face off. You just can't do it.
Not really.
Yeah, and dating was just complex, to be honest, because I found when dating within the expat community, you get two levels of people. You get, you know, I guess same as dating anywhere probably. You get the people who just want to have a good time, and you get the people who, especially when you're in your 30s, they've already planned having kids and settling down, and you're on a first date, and you're like, whoa, whoa. You know, and it's I just found those two extremes just too extreme for me.
Right.
It was like, I just want to get to know someone on a normal level, and I think that style of dating, that kind of where I was ready for in my life, was really difficult to achieve in Dubai. And I met someone online, you know, as many people do these days, and he happened to live in France, and we had a few dates. I visited a few times, and so I moved here to be with him.
Wow, nice.
And I'll tell you now, it didn't work.
Okay, that's still the idea was nice.
It didn't work, but I got here, and I found myself just lost in Paris, and I was just like, didn't want to go back to the UK with my tail between my legs. I was like, I'm living this expat life. I'm determined to make it work. And I was like, you know, I'm in France now. I can make this work. I'll do it. I'll see what I've got. And then shortly after that, I met my now partner. We've had a baby girl, and we are getting married next year. So
wow, congratulations.
Yeah, it worked here in France.
Great story. Yeah. You can make it everywhere, but it's better to do it in France. That's the
it
top
worked
line.
in France.
Nice. So your background and your experience pushed you to go through a breakthrough career in Dubai, and then you decided to launch Lemon Box, right? Your business. Tell me a bit more about it.
So, as I said, Lemon Box has always been, well, it's only recently been called Lemon Box, but my photography has always been that kind of job on the side. I mean, I've done multiple kind of family shoots, especially for my friends, but also for people, friends of friends. You know, it grows very naturally, right?
Yes.
Yeah. And someone says, "Oh, where'd you get those photos?" "Oh, it's my friend Linda." And then, you know, and then eventually you get to a point where you find people that you start charging money for, that you're not just doing for free, because they're not people you actually know. They're just people
recommended,
you know, of you. Yeah. So it kind of just naturally grew like that. And when I came to France, I was just like, obviously I didn't have a network here in France yet. So I went and did what's natural to me, and I went and worked in a school. And that school built me my network. It built me my network of parents and families. I got into a lot of the kind of parents association, and I did a lot of pro bono work for the school, for the mayor in my local town, you know, kind of, or the mayor candidates. Yeah, getting to know everyone. Like, I do some work for the local bar, like just, and it's all about networking.
Absolutely.
And I did that. And then in January last year, I'd finally built my business, Lemon Box, up enough that I felt I was able to leave my teaching job.
Wow.
And so I left in January last year to make Lemon Box my full-time focus.
And then
we had a pandemic. Oh, my luck. I swear my luck is just not the best. But you know what? Despite the pandemic, I have had an absolute blast starting Lemon Box. I've met some wonderful people. I've made some really good connections. I've had some really fun photo shoots. And that's what's important in building a new business. You know, I'm lucky enough that I'm in a position where I can take this time. I mean, as I mentioned, I've just had my daughter, so really what we saw it as is kind of extended maternity leave. But it's not really maternity leave, because I'm working really hard to build my business. But you know, when me and my partner sat down and discussed it, we did the adding up, and it was okay if the business doesn't rake in millions straight away.
Good. Which is still the plan. Which is
still the plan. But you know, it is getting to a point that the business needs to ramp up a little bit, and I've been working hard on that, and the jobs are coming in. So again, once we are able to get events back up and running, then I think life's going to be a lot easier. But for now, I'm
Definitely.
working on a lot of things, getting published in a couple of magazines, and well, doing my usual thing of networking and meeting the right people, which of course right now is also really helpful for me on the wedding circuit, as I'm also planning my own wedding.
Yeah. Yeah, great. That's a really good thing to do, especially if you're planning your own wedding. As a person, you can be on both sides. That's what makes this episode so special, and our relationship also so special.
Yeah.
I think I remember hearing a lot of wedding suppliers obviously struggling during the year 2020. But what I hear now, now that the dust settled down a little bit, is that that made people stronger and businesses stronger. Don't you
Yeah.
think?
Yeah, 100%. And I think, it's, I mean, my goal when I first set up my business was really to focus on solely doing weddings,
Hmm.
with the odd family job on the side or something, because it's just, I really wanted my whole business to focus on weddings, because for me, I've come from event photography.
Right.
I've done all those big events in Dubai, and I really love that kind of candid shooting and really enjoying like capturing the moment and capturing the mood of an event and a piece. And so for me, my business plan originally was to really focus on weddings. And I think because of the pandemic, those doors that I perhaps mentally closed to other types of photography in my original business plan, I've
Yeah.
actually just opened wide and gone, do you know what? Wedding photography, as much as it's my main focus and goal, it's not possible largely right now. So I kept those family portrait doors open, and that's really where I've grown as a photographer. And I think
Hmm.
many businesses have done the same, like it's hard for wedding suppliers, but we look at other areas that our
Absolutely.
businesses can grow and can develop and can and even if we're just working on networking, or even if we're working on building relationships, like it's forcing us to come out of our
Yeah.
tunnel vision.
To
And
pivot.
I think, yeah, I think it's really, it's been hard, and I don't want to take away from how hard and how much of a struggle it's been, especially for very specific suppliers for weddings. I mean, I'm lucky as a photographer, I do have an ability to open,
Absolutely.
but there are also, much like yourself, you're a celebrant, right? So that's it's a bit harder to have a wider scope, right?
Yeah, the only way that I could have pivot is to work with my fellow French people, which I did for a few weddings, because
Yeah.
obviously no English people or American or English speaking country was able to come to France. So thank God I speak French.
Yep. It is useful.
Exactly. But yeah, what you say is absolutely right. I think it made everyone stronger and have the will to adapt to the situation.
Yeah.
By the way, I was looking at your Instagram and website, and I really liked the fact that you're not only doing weddings, but you're also into couples and portraits and babies and families. That makes a lot
Yeah.
of sense, even if you see it in the continuity of life in general. Like you
Yeah.
meet as a couple, you have your uh, engagement photography, elopement, maybe wedding, and then the baby come,
I
pregnancy.
mean, that's
I
really
really
how
like
I
that.
see that's really how I see and view my business in general. Like I my tagline is I'm your photographer.
Hmm.
I'm not just a wedding photographer. I'm not just there to do, I like to build a very personal relationship. Most of my wedding packages are, um, as part of it, they have a pre-photo shoot. So
Right.
whether that's just a bridal shoot or whether that's a couple shoot, for me, it's super important to build a relationship before the day of the event,
Hmm.
because I like to be able to, so say I do a bridal shoot before the event, I sit down with the bride and she can tell me what angles she doesn't like,
Right.
what photos she's not keen on, because on her big day she doesn't need to be worrying about whether I'm capturing the right angle or the
100%.
right mood. And so for me, a pre-photo shoot before the wedding is one of my um it's one of the things that puts me different to a lot of
Hmm.
photographers.
Yeah.
it's something that I put very highly. I don't charge extra for it. It's part of
Okay.
the photography packages.
Nice.
Because for me, it's good for me as a photographer to have that, to be able to get to know them. And even if it's not a special event, you know, even if I just go and spend a morning with them while they walk, just so I can get to
Get to
know
know.
what they like, and they can look at the photos that I've created and they can be like, oh yes, that's the kind of angle I like. That's the position. Oh, I love when I smile like that. Oh, I
Mm.
don't like when I look like that, you know, because
Mm.
that's going to only inform me to make my finished product of their event much more informed and much more what they're after.
I so agree with you. Like, it makes me think about my earlier career when I was a junior salesman back like maybe 100 years ago,
Yeah.
and I had no experience in dealing with people. And I remember my trainer was much older than me. Were getting to me, coming to me for in client meetings, and I was always in the rush to present the product because I was wrong about that, but I was feeling that people were expecting the product, and I was forgetting. I was making the big mistake, the huge mistake, not to discover the person first and
Yeah.
talk to them and getting to know them. And once I switched that, thanks to this guy, by the way,
Yeah.
my career and my sales skyrocket.
Yeah.
Not because I
I
was
worked in sales for
pushy,
a while.
right? Not because I was pushy or anything like that.
Yeah.
Just because I was getting too interested genuinely
Yeah.
into in the person in front of me. So when you say that, it resonates a lot,
Yeah,
and I
I
think that
think it's really important. I think, you know, we all know that everything related to a wedding is expensive.
yes,
Um, and yes, wedding packages, even as a photographer, when I'm pricing them, I do struggle to price them like from a personal level because I do find that it's expensive. But then when you put in the amount of work
mm,
that goes into it, the post production, the editing, the and the years of training
yes,
that's brought me to this point where I feel like I can be a wedding photographer. Like, you know, you don't just wake up one morning and go, I'm going to go and shoot a wedding. It's
oh, you
just
can, but
you can, but then you have some pretty dismal photos, to be honest. Like I've seen some people who have chose that type of photographer, and
yes,
it's cool if that's what you want. But you know, like I take a lot of time and care, and I like to really capture someone's essence. I think that's something that's really important to me, and I think that that comes from my years of event photography. You know, capturing festivals and that my photos that I look back on in my career that get my soul, that when I look at them I'm just like, oh, that's the one, are
mm,
those ones that capture the essence of the the mood, or the when you see like someone's face and it just conveys like 1,000 words.
yes.
That's you know, that's what I strive for. That's for
I
me, that's what's important.
My father was an amateur photographer, but he helped me to understand what you just said. And obviously, you don't need years of training to understand it. That's the beauty of it. But you probably need years of training to capture it and to know exactly when or what to do. So I
Yeah.
agree with that. By the
Yeah.
way, what would be for you the best investment that you've made? It could be time or money or energy or.
My best investment that I've made, oh, yeah, probably the time that I've put into to developing my style.
Mhm.
I think for a long time, um, I didn't really I did the photography and my photos were good, but I didn't really define my style. I just
Okay.
took pictures that other people liked, if
Do you
that
think
makes
that's
sense.
it does? Yeah. Do you think that's a part of the process?
Yeah, I think it is. I think as you grow and develop as a photographer, as an artist and as a photographer, like you start to understand, and I mean again, it's about growing and developing your understanding of post-processing as well. Like for a long time I didn't use any post-processing. Because for a
No.
long time I worked for magazines who just wanted me to shoot.
Okay.
And
Okay. That's
so
interesting.
yeah, so for a long time, like for me, the raw photo was what
Raw
it's all about.
material.
So I really developed a very good sense for framing and composition of a photo. Was really all I used to have to focus on. And since coming to France and really focusing on opening my business and doing the family shoots, more and more you can see that I have a very specific style. I use very bold colors, very bright. I'm not really a fan of this kind of washed out thing that a lot of photographers use, you know, when they make everything look like cream and pink and white. Like it's just not how I see the world. Like I love those really bold and warm tones. Like I love
like
that.
it.
But you know, I see more and more through my photography, and it's really obvious when you scan through my Instagram, for example. It's like the very early images are they're good pictures, but they're just good pictures. And the more and more you come towards the top, you can start to see that I've really developed a specific style. And it's, I've got my own presets on Lightroom now, and I know,
Great.
I know what I like. I know, and again, it's getting to know more and more specifically what settings to use on my camera to achieve the end goal. So it's just investing time, and I spend a lot of time taking pictures of my daughter.
Okay.
Has helped a lot because she's bless her. she's all over my Instagram because
of course
I've not had as much business as I would have liked. I've had a lot, but not enough because I'm an overworker by nature. So I'm sat there with like 10 photo shoots in a month, and I'm like, nope, not done enough. I need to
Wow.
to take another 4 shots of my daughter.
Oh my God. Yeah.
No, I like
workaholic.
Yeah, a little bit. I've always had like 2 or 3 jobs at a time. Like I have a bit of a tendency to really need to keep busy.
Something that I see amongst the wedding suppliers for some reason. I don't know, but
you have to have a certain level of energy to be involved in the wedding industry, I feel.
Yes, I really agree with that, and the willingness to make it happen, whatever it takes, because there's no 2 different weddings. You know, it's like always unique, and that's a lot.
You can't fall into a rut. You know, like I mean, I loved teaching. I loved it more than anything. But every day was you get into habits, right? And it's just this. We go in, we sing our song, we do our literacy, we do our maths, we go home.
It's a different thing.
What I love about the photography is it's every shoot is different. Every single one.
That's what I really liked when I started by coincidence this endeavor, and I was eager to have some action, and I really liked the fact that anything can happen basically, and you have to make it happen and make it up, work together with all the team, even if you don't know them. You get to know people, and it resonates just like you starting with raw material and ending up having your own style. I think it's all about the energy and the time that you're putting into your career, what you want to do.
Yeah, my passion, my dream.
Do you have any plans in the future for Lemon Box? Anything that you want to share with us today?
I'm really focusing on doing my wedding photography. This is really what I'm pushing at the moment. I've just completed my wedding brochure.
Okay.
And so I'm currently looking to maybe partner with some venues to offer an English speaking photographer. Because I notice a lot of venues, as I've been to view quite a few venues, I notice a lot of them have photographers that they work side by side with, but they're very often French speaking.
Okay.
Which is obviously we're in France, and I do speak some French, but as a bride, I tell you right now, I really, really need someone to speak in English with me. Definitely. About the finer details of my wedding.
Yes.
Because as much as my French is good and I get by,
not the same.
I cannot convey everything I feel and mean.
This is a natural thing.
Yeah, and I think for something especially like the photography for my wedding, for example, I'm going to be very specific about what I want.
Great.
Because as a photographer, I'm going to be a nightmare to the photographer that eventually I choose to do my wedding. I know I'm going to be a nightmare. Because I know exactly what I want. And as I've been working with a lot of these, viewing a lot of these venues, there's very few photographers that are English speaking with the venues that I've been looking at. I know there are lots of venues that do. So, I'm looking to build a relationship with some of these venues to offer my services as an English speaking photographer.
Great.
So I think that's one of my big visions for this year, is to kind of build those relationships, network. And for me, it's really exciting that I'm planning a wedding as well, because I'm going to get like a real inside track into the wedding scene here in France. So,
I think you should definitely I don't know, record something or write about it or sing about it.
There'll probably be some posts on my blog. I have a blog on my website.
Okay.
Where I just write about
on the show notes.
Yeah, it's I haven't written in it for a while, to be honest.
That's a good reason to go back to it.
I'm not a natural blogger, I would say. Like, sitting down and focusing to write is probably something that's a little bit more. It takes a bit more brain power than. I like to do the fun stuff more. I like to go out and take photos. Like, I wish someone else would just come and write my blog for me. If I could just dictate the blog to someone and they just write it.
That works. Yeah. I have a good tool for you.
Oh, yeah. There are tools that could do it. To be honest, like I did do a couple of blogs in the summer. I had a really successful blog post with which actually got printed in a photo shoot magazine. I did doorstep portraits.
Oh.
And I talked to and interviewed people about how they felt about leaving lockdown.
Okay.
In May last year.
And how did it go? May last year. Okay.
Yeah, May last year, when we thought we were leaving lockdown.
Crazy. We were so young and innocent.
So naive. But the blog was really nice, and it really opened up some doors in the expat community, because it got a nice little bit of traction in some of the English speaking groups that I'm part of.
Nice.
But yeah, no, I think this year my focus for my business is really to kind of get some weddings, get to know some venues as well. I think for me as a photographer, it's all about the research. It's all about I want any bride or groom that chooses me as a photographer. I want them to have complete faith that I've got it, that I know it. And although I'm relatively new to the wedding scene here in France, I want to make sure that just because I'm new to it doesn't diminish like what's possible. So I need to go and get to know these places. I need to go and get to know the venues that I'm looking to really work with, and make sure that I can get the best angles, do my research, stalk them on their social medias.
Classic.
Yeah, it's all part of the job. It's I mean, the venue that I'm getting married at, I'm super excited about, because it has such beautiful photos of it.
Oh, great.
And I think some of the other venues that we've been to see or look at, they don't have good photos of the venue. So I'll be targeting those venues.
Good.
to
ready,
work
guys.
with them. Yeah, I'm coming.
She's on the way. So your wedding is this year or next year?
Next year. Yeah,
next
2022.
Year, 2022.
Yeah, it was always going to be in 2022, because my partner actually turns 40 this year.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
So we have like that big celebration. And then next year we'll have our wedding.
Great. Sounds great. Yeah. Pretty good. So thank you so much for taking the time to be with us today. And I think we can maybe go back to another episode together, talking about your preparation for your wedding in some episodes. I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm probably going to look to get in the large majority of my prep done over the summer, when there's about 6 months left to go.
Yes.
I mean, I started pretty early, because once we booked the venue the other week, I was like, right, I need to find everything now. And then I realized it's like over a year away. And like, what am I doing? Like, I'm making all these lovely connections, but I'm like, but it's still over a year away. Like, people are like, okay, so tell me what you need. And I'm like, I don't know yet. I haven't made so many of the decisions. So, no, I think in the summer, it's going to really ramp up my prep. And once we're at a point where we can start applying for all the paperwork we need, because everything's got to be within 6 months.
Yes.
Oh my
Welcome
God.
to France.
I love France, but the paperwork is not my favorite part.
No one's. Don't worry. Even us, French citizens, we don't want to talk about the topic. It's a rabbit hole.
It really, really is. But yeah, no, that's it might be interesting to come back and speak to you about all the things I find.
Yeah, that's a good idea. Thank you again so much, Linda, and
thank you for having me.
Best. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hey guys, thanks again for listening to the show today. You can find more information on our guests in the show notes, as well as my contact and my website. If you have any questions regarding your French wedding, I'm happy to help. Also, please do not hesitate to leave a review for the show. There's also a link for that. That will literally take 1 minute of your precious time and will mean the world to me. I always appreciate your support. Thank you again very much for your time and feedback. Wishing you a great day or a great night anywhere you are in the world. I send you some good vibrations and we'll talk to you again soon for a new episode. Bye bye.